how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another AppSheet Training live stream. Today we're talking about no code innovation unleashed. So welcome everyone to our live stream for today. We're also going to be talking about some cool updates that AppSheet released. I believe they released it today. So I'll switch over to that in just a minute. Exciting new announcement from AppSheet that they're making it publicly available for AppSheet core licenses. So I'll share that with you guys in just a minute. Just want to give everybody an opportunity to hop in on our live stream for today. And we're kind of continuing where we left off yesterday with our topic on AppSheet databases versus Google Sheets and which is the best option. It really is just going to depend on what you're hoping to build there. If you want some interaction with the backend database, AppSheet databases might be a good option for you. Or if you want just the interaction and you like kind of the usability of the Google Sheet, then that might be your better option for your database. But yeah, ready to dive into whatever topics y'all are hoping to discuss today. And we'll kind of keep rocking and rolling with those concepts that we talked about yesterday and continue to build upon the application for directors and managers and kind of see where that takes us towards the end of the week. But yeah, just wanted to take a minute to let everyone kind of hop in here and see how everyone's day has been going so far. Again, the goal of these daily live streams is to interact with you guys that are kind of in the workday every day, going through the different business processes that you might have. We want to help you do more of the things that you love doing, less of the things that you don't. So that way you can enjoy your work more and really get these business automations up and running in your businesses, so you can meet your business goals and do the things that you want to, better improve your businesses on the day-to-day. And so that's what we do here at QREW. We make sure that we're empowering you with the tools that you need to use these no-code technologies. So some pretty exciting news from AppSheet today. So while we're waiting for everybody to kind of join, and please feel free to add your topics into the chat. Really helps continue the conversation here. So if you want to get started with something simple, just let us know where you're from and what you're hoping to learn today. Really, it's fair game, whatever you're hoping to discuss. If you've got a daily workflow that you're trying to dial in with AppSheet or another no-code tool, feel free to throw that in the chat, and then we'll kind of troubleshoot it on here today and see if we can help you out there. But like I said, the goal for these daily live streams is to help you guys understand how to use the no-code technology that's available out there in the market today and be able to utilize that for your business workflows that you're working on a day-to-day. All right, so wanted to get straight to a pretty cool announcement from AppSheet. And let's see, when was this posted? So I'll go ahead and share this tab right here. So this is Google Workspace updates. It's the official feed from Google Workspace team where they're providing essential updates to Google Workspace customers. So it says here at the top, so July 17th. Okay, so like about a week ago, AppSheet core licenses will be included by default for more Workspace editions, along with a new admin security setting. So let's find out what that is. So you can read about what's changing there, who's impacted, why it matters. And so that's all, really good information if you want to read that. What caught my eye was the rollout pace and then the availability. So it says here, rapid release and scheduled release domains, extended rollout, potentially longer than 15 days for feature visibility, starting on July 25th, 2023. So what this means is AppSheet core licenses are already included for these verified workspace domains. what's updating is they will now be included for these other domain verified Google Workspace editions. So yeah, Business Starter, Business Standard, Business Plus, Enterprise, Enterprise Standard. So there's just a lot of access now to AppSheet databases. And actually, let me go ahead and make this bigger for you guys so y'all can see what's going on. AppSheet has rolled out the availability of AppSheet Core. So that core tier of licensing is now going to be available for you to deploy apps if you have one of these Workspace tiers. So instead of having to purchase an additional AppSheet license, if you want to deploy your apps to your business users, you can just go ahead and start deploying apps because you now have AppSheet Core included in your Workspace package. So no need to purchase an additional license when you've already got it with your Workspace tier. So that's pretty exciting news there. I was very excited when I heard that announcement. And it looks like it's also for Google Workspace for Education users. So awesome. Very cool news there. Just wanted to share that with everyone that is watching. Looks like we're having a few more people hop on. So like I said at the beginning, feel free to go ahead and post in the chat if you have questions about your specific workflows or just work rhythms that you're wanting to update and maybe add some automation to, whether that be through AppSheet or the new chat app feature. We're going to be diving in again to the AppSheet database and Google Sheets feature that we talked about yesterday and kind of continue building that one out. How's it going, Alexander? Thanks for hopping in on the chat there. Yeah, so if y'all have any questions or topics that you want me to discuss, I will go ahead and show that here. And so feel free to add that in the chat there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide. So our main kind of like topic of discussion today is Business Mavericks, how no-code empowers professionals to excel. So kind of along the lines of what we talked about yesterday, directors and managers can take advantage of this new technology. And so Alexander is asking any change for the free tier. I don't believe there's any changes for the free tier. It looks like it's kind of the same there. This is just going to affect anybody that's on the Workspace Business Starter. So if you have the lowest tier of Workspace paid version, then you'll be able to have AppSheet Core included in that. So yeah, great question. But yeah, today's goal, let's talk about what y'all are working on, and I'll go ahead and add that to our app that we're making. And then if y'all have questions about like, what does a citizen developer framework look like? Or how do I get started with citizen development in my organization? Those are great questions, and we can talk about those as well in this session. Really, like I said, anything is fair game. And the goal of these is to help empower you guys with no-code tools and kind of demonstrate the power of no-code technologies on these live streams on a daily basis. All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and jump in to our live stream for today. So I'm going to go ahead and cue up the video. I'll see you guys on the other side. Again, want to thank everyone for joining today. As we're getting started, I wanted to make sure to present QREW Technologies and what we're specializing in. Our goal is to empower your business with no-code technologies that deliver results-oriented business automations. So our services are including no-code development, consulting, and training, and we're also specializing in citizen development. So if you have questions about those, feel free to schedule a call with us. We're happy to meet with you one-on-one and discuss your business use case in further detail. Again, feel free to click the link in the description and schedule a call with us, and more than happy to meet with you guys. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and jump back in where we left off yesterday. So understanding a bit of the data structure is kind of where we left off, or where we began. So kind of backing up a little bit, so anybody that's new to the stream today can see these. And I'll head over to the database in just a minute. But remember, our working definition for how no code is helping directors and managers is it's enabling them to create custom applications without any code, streamlining workflows, enhancing data accessibility, and boosting productivity overall. So let's go ahead and take a look at the data structure again, just to make sure everybody's up to speed on that one. So adding this over here for everyone to see. And I see Alexander, he says, talking about the AppSheet toolbox. Yeah, sorry about that, Alexander. We are updating that one as AppSheet is making some updates to the editor. We're having to go on the back end and update the toolbox to kind of communicate correctly with the new updates to the editor. So give us some time on that one, but thanks for bringing that to our attention. Okay, so again, the data structure that we're working with in our TaskDirector app is we've got projects, tasks, and users. And we have the same setup over here for our AppSheet database. So we've got the project, the task, and the user. And we kind of set all that up yesterday, did a little bit of a side-by-side comparison as to what it's like to build it in Google Sheets and what it's like to build in AppSheet databases. All right, so that's just a quick overview of the data structure there. And what we were going to do today is really look at the essential features for directors and managers. So a few of those features that we're going to be creating today is we already have the data set up, so we can make an employee directory, right? So we'll look at how to create that feature, and then we'll step into feature 2, which is project management, which is kind of like what we set up on the AppSheet database that I really liked with the Kanban board and moving tasks over that way, similar to how Trello's board system is set up. And for the project management feature, we're going to make sure directors and managers can create and update and track projects, implement a status tracking system. That's our in progress, completed, or delayed statuses, and then enable assignment of projects to specific teams. So we'll take a look at how to set that one up in AppSheet. And then finally, we have the task assignment and tracking. So project's kind of the high level one, and then the task tracking is a little bit more granular. So the employees or team members can have clear line of sight of what their project goals are there. All right, and then lastly, we'll kind of wrap up with customization and user interface. So yeah, like I said, excited that everyone's here today. And if y'all have specific questions as I'm going through this, or you get an idea about a system that you're working on, feel free to throw those in the chat. Any workflow that y'all are working on right now, happy to talk about it. So looks like we have a few people joining today. And yeah, go ahead and throw your workflows in the chat, and we'll talk about those. Okay, so back over here to our AppSheet databases and our Google Sheet. So for the Google Sheet one, I like to go from extensions, AppSheet, and create an app. So we'll just go ahead and do that one. For Google Sheets, that is pretty straightforward there. I like that setup the best. There's another way to do it straight from the AppSheet editor, but I prefer that one when I'm working in Google Sheets. Okay, and then from here, we're just gonna customize our app. And what we need to do first is go ahead and add the other tables. So we'll add the task table, add that table. And again, like I said, we're going to be doing this simultaneously with the AppSheet databases. And the way you can tell the difference is this one is GS for Google Sheets, and then we'll have AD for AppSheet databases. All right, so now we got all of our tables added in there. So I'm excited to see what the difference is, like how it interacts with the data over here for our AppSheet databases version. So let's see, show apps. So I don't believe there's going to be any apps associated with it. So got this little robot here. It says AppSheet lets you create. So new AppSheet app. Click that button there. Okay, so it went ahead and created that one for me, and I'll share this screen over here. It actually called it the project app. I guess it just took that first one, but you can see the data source here, the task director, and it's the AppSheet database source. So let's see if we can add some more data, and we're going to get this this one here, and looks like you can just select all of them. So go ahead and add those to the app. I do like that feature. Okay, it looks like we have an error. Let's see what's happening here. Refers to, so we have two errors. The table or slides does not have a valid column structure. So assign team members, and then column name created by. Okay, so let's go ahead and check those two out. We have our ID column should be there for that one, not the row ID. So let's see if we can clean some of this stuff up here. And yeah, as you can see, Alexander, I'm taking out the AppSheet toolbox just by clicking this little icon here, so I can get the AppSheet editor version of it. Okay, could it be possible for someone to make a two-factor for a secure area in the AppSheet app? So, okay, I guess you're wondering if that. So Google already has a Google OAuth set up there. I'm not sure. I'm sure you could set that up with depending on like the data structure. I don't know if I would recommend that. We our kind of perspective or requirement on that one for just apps in general is going to be, if it's an internal facing app, we'll build it on AppSheet. If it's an external facing app, we'll generally build it on Bubble, right? And so those are like so when you're saying two-factor authentication, I'm thinking you might want to go with another platform so that it handles those security protocols. And you might be able to just like use some kind of extension there for two-factor authentication. Not sure there. I don't have a clear recommendation for that one. But generally, internal applications are best built with AppSheet because it's really quick for making business workflows, whereas Bubble, you can do a little bit more UI design, which is nice for external-facing applications, which you might start touching on some of those in some of the later episodes of our daily live streams. So yeah, y'all let me know what no-code platforms y'all are interested in learning about. And then love to start talking about citizen development and frameworks, like how y'all are integrating the different workflows of AppSheet into your daily ones. Okay, when I have toolbox turned on, I have two boxes, but when toolbox is turned off, I have one box, like what you have now. Perfect. Yep, that's how that's how I've been like doing my workflows too. Okay, so I'm in the ID column here, and we're going to go ahead and just put the unique ID expression. So we can have that one for the ID column. So yeah, this is one of the things I was wondering about connecting AppSheet databases is it's going to be a little bit trickier as as far as like the column type setup and everything here. Um, because it's a different data source and you're like setting the values on the database side rather than in the AppSheet editor. Um, so getting some errors there. And I think the other error maybe on this table. Let's see. Um, so I actually want this to be the ID for that one. And for the task table, same thing. And we'll do unique ID. All right. There we go. Okay, got the green check mark. Okay, let's see if that fixed our issues there. There we go. Okay, and that wasn't too bad. Just had to adjust the ID settings there. And then we're not going to show the ID for that one. Okay, so then from here, we're making sure all these column types are correct. And so we can get the proper customization features that we want for each of these apps. Okay. And then again, if y'all have questions as I'm working through this, feel free to throw those in the chat. So this is um, a task tracker app for directors or managers, and it's got 3 layers to it. It has the projects, the task associated with those projects or related to, as AppSheet calls it, and then it has users who get assigned either tasks or projects. So we're continuing to work through that, and we're kind of doing a side-by-side comparison for those that are just jumping in to see how AppSheet databases work versus Google Sheets with AppSheet. I have my preference is still going to be Google Sheets, but AppSheet databases does have its advantages, and we'll do a run through of like which one, what are the pros and cons probably at the end of this, but y'all let me know what you think as I'm working through this and what questions you might have. Okay, so now that we've got our each of our data sets added, let's go ahead and look at our column types, make sure all of these are correct. So we got task name is a text, and then this one I want to be long text because I might be writing a longer description there. Want to have room to adjust that. Due date, let's just keep it date for now. I think that's good. Probably you might want to make it like a date time if you wanted to specify the actual time something is due during the day. Task priority is an enum. Let's see if it kept our list. It did not, so we're going to add those because I don't think we need other values to be added there. We can leave that one checked. Okay, so we got low. Oops. Try that again. Low, medium, and high. All right, and then if y'all remember our trick for like status ordering, maybe throw that one in the chat. See if you can beat me to that if expression, and it's actually an ifs expression. How would we, if we wanted to order these, like in a certain ranking, like 1, 2, or 3, how would we write that expression in our virtual column? And so that way we can group them by the status order that we want to see. So that's for our priority. And then now we have our status. Oh, okay. So the status one did give us our different statuses, except we don't need task status there. And everything else looks great. So we'll exit out of that one. And next up is date time for a created date. And so we need to scroll over here. It's got now, so that's perfect. Project ID is going to be a ref. And let's see if it's going to the projects table. So this is really nice. We set all this up on the AppSheet database side. Could you? Yeah. Okay. So Alexander's wondering about how to, use the Bubble platform. Definitely something that we'll be talking about. So if y'all continue watching these, we might put it on the agenda for next week, and we'll hop into some Bubble projects and how to use that platform. That one is really fun. It is a little bit more of a learning curve than AppSheet, as there's just a lot more customization, so you can really go pretty in depth with your Bubble projects there. But I do enjoy working on Bubble apps as well. Thanks for all the comments, Alexander. Appreciate it. All right. So then we also have our assigned team member is a ref. One thing that is pretty cool that I'm noticing about AppSheet databases is it's like not allowing you to change this name here, which is nice. It's just a nice feature there, because if we go over to the Google Sheets one, we can change the name, but it let's just say if I put full name here, I'm pretty sure it's going to break the application. So if I try and save that one, okay, maybe it doesn't. In the past, if you have a different name than what the column is named, it usually does break the app. So interesting that it didn't break it there. But I think I like that feature over there on the AppSheet database side, where you're not allowed to change it here. It just kind of prevents some of those bugs from popping up. Even down to like when you're going back and trying to find bugs, if you have columns named something different on the editor than you did on your database, that can get super confusing really fast, especially when you start working with large amounts of data. Okay, so those all look great. Let's click over to the user table. We got email, name, department, and then date, time, and created by is the ref. Okay, so we do need to add user email expression here. And then what is our recommendation? This is like a question for the chat. If you want to type this expression in, I have a recommendation for what I like to do for the show if statement. So I'll give you guys a little bit of a hint. It is a context expression, and which context do I not want this created date time showing, because it would allow users to edit it. So how do I make sure that I make the user interface to where they cannot see the created date time there? It's going to be the context function. And how would I write that for this show if field? Let's see if you guys can beat me to that one as well. So we got the ifs expression and the context view type. Those are two expressions that we talked about on Monday. So let me know in the comments if you remember what those expressions, how those expressions might be written. All right, let's keep dialing in our type column here. So ID is text, unique ID, and we're not showing the ID value. Our task name is the label, and it's a text. Great. Okay. All of these look good. And we got the now and project ID. Do we have? Okay, created by. And again, this one's going to be user email. And I'll put that one here. Okay. That one looks great. And we got the project ID and assigned team members. Perfect. Okay. All right. And I think we already went through project. Let's just double check it. That looks great. I think we missed the user email though. Okay. Here we go. All right. So I'll let you guys know about the expression we're going to write here for the show if. So it's just a pretty standard one that I like using. Is the context view type. And if you guys don't know, you can also just do context view if you wanted to specifically like call out what the view name is, which I think that's a pretty handy feature or function of AppSheet. But for this, I want it to go across all view types that are type form. And so I use context and then the view type, and I want it to not show this column on the form views. So that'll prevent people from accidentally typing in when they created the record or anything like that. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Antonio. Happy to see you here. Feel free to leave your questions or comments in the chat as well. Happy that that was helpful for you. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue copy and paste in this one across the different fields there. So no more, that was the created by column. And then I'm going to come over here to the task table and do the same procedure. So created date time, click the edit pencil, the formula, and then now I'm going to come up here and copy that one and go through and save and click done. And then same thing here. So these are pretty standard components that I put in all of my AppSheet apps. It helps with timestamping and tracking and making sure that every record you have context for when it was created and who created it. Speaking of Bubble does that automatically, which is super nice. So there's some things that AppSheet, they like have all of these automation features kind of built in to when you connect your data to the platform. And then Bubble has some of those too, right? Where they just like kind of, this comes standard procedure with all of your Bubble apps. Obviously, AppSheet has a lot more on the business automation side, whereas Bubble has that more customization feature. Okay, so did we do this one yet? Okay, so left off here. So finishing out these context view functions here, and got to click the edit pencil. And so speaking of like the differences between AppSheet and Bubble, this is one of my favorite features of AppSheet is if you have ref columns, it just like automatically creates all these related views for you. And so you can already see here, we have the user table and we have related projects by project lead, related projects by created by, related task by assigned team member, and related task by created by. So every project or every table that we have associated with a user gets these related fields. And we've got the same thing over here on the projects table. It already created a related task for us. And then you can see that visualized over here within the editor. Looks like we got a random string of text here for the project lead. So y'all remember from our live stream on Monday, that yellow triangle is denoting a foreign key that's not matching up, right? So let's go fix that. And we'll come back over here to the TaskDirector database. And that one is going to be, what's up, Stefan? All right. Thanks for joining the chat, dude. Okay, so we need to come back over here and see what we're working on um, with our project lead. And let's see what fields were those. So we have the yellow triangle on the project lead field and the created by field. So those two fields have the wrong references for some reason. Okay, so on the project table, and we need to associate the correct user, which we have the email. Oh, okay. So remember when we were setting up the types over here, we do have the key right there. We may just need to save this as it hasn't saved the key change. So let's go ahead and save that and see if that updates those for us. It did not. So we got to come back over here to the project table. So the next thing I'll check is the reference. Is it going to the user table? It is going to the user table. So that looks good there. And the created by field is also going to the user table. But it looks like we are getting this unique ID here. So we've said that this is the key. So I guess, again, we need to come back to the database and make sure that these are set up correctly. Okay, so the project table, we've got the project lead. Let's go ahead and change this to Jane Smith. And back over to the database. Let's resync that. Okay, interesting. So it's still catching the unique identifier as the key value, which is like the row ID. But we've told it that this should be the key value. Okay. So if y'all have ideas in the chat of ID of this row, yeah, feel free to add those. As this one is new to me as far as like the AppSheet database side of things. Okay, so we're still getting that yellow triangle, and we've got the references set up correctly, which is super interesting why it would why it's not showing the correct reference column. Okay, so just for the sake of time, I'm going to hop over here to the Google Sheets version and kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. So same procedure. We have our ID column here, unique ID, and we have the user field, user email function. And maybe I'll get an idea as I'm going through this one to see what happened there. And then the task, I'm going to come over here. It's got the unique ID set there. And then we just need to update the user email function here. Email. Okay. And last but not least, our user table. And again, going to have the user email. Okay. And email is going to be our key column there. As y'all can see, for this one, the row number is blank. So I wonder, let's try that. That might be the idea I was looking for. Over here, we have row ID. I don't know if we can just remove this column. Doesn't look like it. But I think we can take this out. Nope, we can't. The row ID. So maybe for AppSheet databases, we have to have that one as the key. It just kind of makes that ID column for you. So I guess we can just try and set that. And then we might have to do something different for the user email function here. So let's see about that one. If we switch that up, and instead of making an actual ID column, we just use the row ID that it creates automatically. Okay, so we'll click on that one. Okay, there we go. So now we have the correct ID showing and the user email showing. So I guess that's a cool feature. So it's a step that you don't have to worry about anymore in AppSheet databases, which I guess we'll give another check to AppSheet databases there. You don't have to use an ID column because it creates that for you. And it gives you that unique ID code already input there for you. So one step that you don't have to worry about anymore if you use AppSheet databases. So one thing we can do as far as data cleanup for this one is we can just delete the ID column because AppSheet databases uses the row ID. It just kind of standard. So deleting both of those columns, we don't need them anymore. And then coming back over to our app, I'll just, I'm going to have to regenerate the structure. That is one thing that I think is really weird. Just to go on a little bit of a tangent with AppSheet databases is in Bubble, you don't have to regenerate when you have when you're using their native database. But with AppSheet databases, you do, which is really strange. I feel like it shouldn't work that way. I was hoping that was going to be like the primary benefit of an AppSheet database is you get to not worry about regenerating the structure. It's just like natively connected. But hey, that's okay. Maybe that will be a future update. Let me know what you guys think about that. That was my thought process when they were first releasing the AppSheet databases. Is it would be exactly like that, but it looks like it's like set up as like a third-party database still, but that you have a little bit more features that are like directly integrated with AppSheet. Is kind of what you're getting there with AppSheet databases. Okay, so now that we got the reference columns figured out, I do like that feature. So we don't have to worry about ID columns. If you're using an AppSheet database, it does that for you natively with the row ID. So now our yellow triangle is fixed, and now Jane Smith is showing up correctly and not the unique identifier. All right, so that one is done there. And our side-by-side comparison, the extra step that we had to do for the Google Sheets is we actually have to enter a unique identifier and make sure that we remember, you have to have a unique ID column that will serve as your key, because you don't want to have the row number as your key. Somebody could delete a row or a record, and then you lose that value. And you don't want to use a timestamp as a key either. That's another common one that I see a lot is timestamping. And another common thing that I used to do as well, because it seems like it would be unique, but somebody could simultaneously make the same record. So that unique ID is always the best option there. All right. Okay, so I think we've got that one fixed up right there. So the first customization that we wanted to do was the employee directory. So let's just do that one real quick. So that's going to be on the user table, and we're going to, I think that's what it was supposed to be called. Let me make sure, check my notes real quick. Yep, employee directory. So this is just going to be a list of the employees here at the company. Directory. And we'll have the, okay, so we have the different names, so we need to do a little bit of customization to this card view here. Okay, I don't know if you guys have been experiencing this, but I've been seeing this and some of the apps I've created. I love the card view, but I've been editing it and then it just like removes everything, which let's see if it does it here. Maybe it won't do it on this one. So let's say I just want to show the name up here. Yeah, see, there it goes. That is a weird feature or a weird bug on the editor side that it just removes everything that was like kind of automatically done for you, which I liked, but then it just removes it all. I don't know why that's been happening. Maybe that can get resolved. And the next thing I want down there is their role. And then here we can just put, let's just not show anything. And same thing for this. We'll not show anything. And then this one, yeah, we don't need anything there either. So this is another like workaround that I do is kind of adding an action or adding a field and then setting it back to none because it just doesn't like it when you try to set the field to none when nothing's been selected. Okay, and then that looks good there. And then on click, I want to go to details. Okay, so there's our employee directory view kind of set up there. And let me show you guys another formula I like to use to get a little like icon here for us. This is the text icon view that I'll usually put on my user table. So I have just a little bit of an icon or a thumbnail for this. So let me go back over here. And I created a virtual column. And now I come in here, and this is contact or text icon function. And then you can use, for this one, I think we can use initials. Let's see if initials works. So I'm going to come over here to examples, other. Is it in other? It might be in text. I think it's in text. So if we do this one, I gotta find it. There it is. Okay, so initials. Just gonna go ahead and copy that one. And then over here, I'm going to put the column value that I want, which is the name column. So I selected that one. And now I have a text icon that will show me that user's initials based on the name field that was input. And it will give me like this placeholder URL, but you can see here 100 by 100. That's like the pixels it's going to like create. So it's going to concatenate like an image of the person's initials, and then we can throw that into the image column right here just to kind of make the whole visualization a little bit better. And we'll use the circle, and it's going to be picture format, and we'll save it, and then we'll see if it's working correctly. And there we go. So now you have just like a little bit of like a phone directory, like a contacts table, essentially. And you've got the person's name and their role. And so maybe we do want a field to like compose an email to them. So you can add that there. All right. So that kind of sets up that one. And we've got the employee directory made. So the next one, and we have about 10 minutes. So yeah, we'll make one more view here, and then again, we'll be on tomorrow and continue the conversation and see if y'all have any more questions. So let's see what the next feature is. So the project management one, and the task assignment and tracking. So another thing we need to do for this view to make sure it's correct is just put our icon at the bottom. So let's just use this one, and got the employee directory there. And then now we can hop over to the projects view. And for projects, let's just use like this briefcase. We got work to do. So pick up our briefcase and let's go to work. All right. And then the last view that we need is, let's see, what was the last view? Is going to be task assignment. So we might have one more view in the primary navigation for the tasks. And I think this one is going to be best as like a table view, just so we can see all the fields and everything that are relevant for task assignment. So just a list of our tasks. But I can't spell today. Okay, there we go. And let's pick an icon for that one. So we'll just do like the checks instead for that one to dial in that. Okay, so we have the employee directory over here, the projects, and then the tasks view there. All right, so that's just like the basic format there. And actually, I think I want this to be a list. That looks a little bit better, maybe, or maybe it's the photo. Photo looks nice. I can also just do the deck view. There we go. I don't know. Whoops. Took it out of the. Okay, there we go. I think that one works. That one works great. And then you have your little columns show up there. Or we can just do this one and have them click on it to view the icons that they need to click on. So that works great. Okay, we'll save that. Sweet. So again, we reviewed our like side-by-side comparison of AppSheet databases and the new release of AppSheet Core to the general audience of like paying Workspace users. So I'm going to come back over here to our slide presentation. And tomorrow, we'll do a little bit more of a customization for the user interface. So make sure to stick around for tomorrow's live stream, and we'll continue diving into like the UX features and everything. Again, doing that side-by-side comparison of AppSheet databases versus Google Sheets. Some of the features that stuck out to me today were AppSheet databases. You don't need to have an ID column. You can just use the row ID that it creates automatically when you connect your database. And then Google Sheets, you do have to have the ID, and you're kind of creating everything from scratch at that point. And I guess there is technically a little bit more customization with Google Sheets as far as like how you want to write everything. It's kind of like a blank canvas in that respect. And then AppSheet databases is going to be more structured to complying with AppSheet and making sure that you're structuring everything the way AppSheet likes to. So if you're just starting out, AppSheet database might be the way to go, just because it's going to keep you within the bounds of how AppSheet likes to work. If you're, experienced with AppSheet, been using it for a long time, obviously Google Sheets is a great tool, and you can use that one kind of as a standalone or as a bolt-on tool to AppSheet. And so that has its benefits there too. And then the other benefit that we talked about yesterday was there's views that you can create inside of the AppSheet database that we would recommend. Even that's a good view to show the end user, so that they can you can have more exposure to the back end database using the AppSheet views there, because it's similar to Google Tables in that respect. All right, so yeah, feel free to stick around for tomorrow's. or come back for tomorrow's, so that way we can customize those features. Be thinking of different ways that we can customize this app, or different ways that it would be helpful for you in your customization of the app interface. Okay, and then live Q&A is kind of throughout. So had a little bit of questions today. Thank you for everyone that came on and participated in the live stream today. Make sure if you enjoyed this content to like and subscribe to our AppSheet Training YouTube channel. Register for tomorrow's live stream. You can do that at appsheettraining.com/livestream. And it'll just be that first thumbnail that you see there over at that link. And you can follow that in the description below. And we'll be coming on every day at 3 p.m. We're here to help you with your business workflows, empowering you with no-code solutions like AppSheet and other no-code tools that we'll be diving into. And then don't forget to sign up for your free AppSheet Training Tech Talk, where we can talk about your business use case, dive in a little bit deeper into how we can serve you and help you get the most out of these no-code tools that you're using on a daily basis. All right, with that, thank you for joining, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great one.